Alright. Okay, so welcome to the first part of the training of the commander training. First thing first, thank you for joining. Second, we're gonna be going over three types of commanding: PPT, Avoc, and Fight. Of course, PPT and Avoc is gonna be a very, very quick one. For the PPT, not a lot you need to know. Depend on the group you have. What do you want to do? You want to take over a map? You want to take some objective, quick objective, and just move on, or you just want to go take every objective? Look at your comp and see what you can do fighting in between the objective. You need to know the good routes. Where do you can go to get from one objective to the other one effectively, depending on what you do. Again, if you don't have a comp to fight, you better know the one that you're not gonna get into people, because you don't want to get into people. How to take objective quickly, which siege hit where. Of course, there's a range on every siege. For Ram, you have to be very close to it. For Kata, you have a good range on it, and if you're using Trebs, there's going to be more range to it. But of course, there's times with that. If you go with the Rams, it's going to be easier for you, because if anything happened, you can hit the door with your sticks. If you use Kata on the wall, well, if the Kata dies, you need to build more, or Treb, because you're not going to be able to hit it with your weapons. Of course, there's many spots on every objective. I'm not gonna go over every spot, because obviously there's like 1,000,000 spot you can hit with a Kata or a Treb. There's some that are better, others that are easier or faster, and others are really, if you have like 1,000,000 siege and you really need to get into the objective, depending on what you're doing. Avoking, mostly dudes doing that, or the night crew. It's pretty easy. You probably have a crew from 2 to maybe top 10, and you use them effectively.
Just cause fucking problems.
It's pretty easy.
You just cause problems.
You cause problems. You take small stuff. You can sidecar people. If you see another guild or another group running, you can just sidecar them. It's going to be easier for you, because you don't want to get focused by the biggest threats. You can just roam, take stuff, kill peoples, or over the big groups. If you have like a lot of speed in your group, you can just come and take the people that are just not as fast as the other. You can just, we're getting that, so you know what it is. You just like try to pick off people, trying to peel the people up, or maybe you can beat
You're
some
extra diabolical.
double numbers on
you
that.
Can camp runbacks.
What?
Right?
Yeah.
You're extra diabolical. You can camp runbacks.
You can
Deads
do
didn't
that.
tell you to do that.
Yeah, I did not. All right, for the fights. Now, I'd say I have 7 points that I'm gonna do. First thing first, that's the points where I'm putting them in the position. First thing first, movements. Movements is the most important thing for your group. If you don't move, mostly you're gonna die. And I'm not exaggerating. It's not only about siege, it's about the other people, because they're gonna be moving too. If you're not moving correctly, and I'm talking not only you but your whole group, there's a way to see how you're moving. I usually check mini-maps once in a while to see how tight the group is. It's pretty easy to see. You see those little dots. If you can see in my screen, you can see all the dots. If you're moving, you're going to see the dots moving, and you're going to see the speed of your group at the same time. Because not always going to be the same speed. It depends who you got in your group. For example, us TM, since we don't really run a comp, well, it's pretty easy. We can have like super speed some days, and the other day we can be super slow. Second part is positioning. Positioning yourself in the group. Positioning where you want to be when you're fighting. For example, terrain, etc., obstacle, or what you're going to use. If you want to, like, I don't know, for example, you're in camp and there's a hole in it and you want to just farm from there, well, you position yourself well to do it. Positioning is very important. If you're positioned well to your group, you're not gonna get pulled, or you're not gonna get like yesterday where you get pulled, smash, and everything in your face. It's like as important as movements, because if your movements are not good, you're gonna die. But if your positioning is not good, it's gonna be worse. If you're not well positioned, your group is not well positioned. For example, there's a small cliff on any way, but you don't like think about it, and you decide to go this way, and then you end up like stuck somewhere, and your whole group get killed. It can happen, and that's very important. The positioning where you at on the map. You always look the best place you can go to fight. Sometimes you see me jump out. We're in, let's for example, Bay, because we're getting fights a lot in Bay. So you're in Bay, and you're inner, and you're killing people, but you see that the cloud is getting thicker, and you have not a lot of space to play. It's not a bad idea to just jump out, go outer inner, or outer. Since you get your people up in there, you can just fight better, because positioning in a keep or in the map or anything, it's very important. Like I don't want to be like that, but it's very important. After that, when you know the positioning, when you know how to move, it's the callings. You need to understand not only your tune, but most of the tune you're using. For example, us TM, we're using Scourge the mostly. So at least you need to know when to call the attacks, know when to call the defense, know when to call stuff like Veil or everything. It's very important, and you need to do it fast. You need to, in my opinion, try to train your brain to not only speak fast but understand fast everything that's coming to you, because it's gonna be fast. Sometimes a minute fight, it looks like it's fast, but it's not. It's 30 seconds is fast, 15 seconds is fast, and not gonna lie, 1 second, you're 1 second away in your head, and you could just get your team killed very easy. Of course, I'm not talking against groups. I'm not gonna name them because I'm not here to shame anyone, but that groups that you can kill without even trying. I'm talking about guilds or big groups that know how to do it. If you're not making the calls well, or even, well, not moving your tune while in the good spot, and you're not doing the right call, it's gonna make you lose that fight easily. Of course, we're lucky because there's gonna be people that's gonna call out what's ready or not, or you can just ask at that moment. You have to be very vocal, and when you do those calls, make them clear, and obviously you got to be a little bit more like leadership. You need to make sure that everyone's understand when you do a call. It's important that people do this, because if we don't, we can die, or it's in between losing or, well, winning. And obviously everyone wants to win. You don't want to lose a fight, and that's normal. So your callings are going to be very important. Try to learn how to pace your callers. I mean, find someone. If no one, if you're not, for example, tagging for TM, trying to find a Scourge that is vocal right now and is going to tell you when the thing is already, or whatever you guys are running, because obviously I'm going to put it on YouTube so everyone can have their own. So for example, you can call the spikes, and for us, spikes means every range attack. For us, big damage mean you drop everything that you have as a damage or CC. I'm not going to like say every CC existing, but you have to know that if you're a warrior on your hammer, well, you CC there. If you have any CC, you drop it at that moment. It's very important. And of course, we tone it down here in TM, make it easier so people that are joining, because we have a lot of people joining every run, we have simple calls so everyone can add it to it. For example, again, if I say big bombs, if anyone doesn't understand, it's going to be pretty easy to explain. You drop your big damage there. If you have CC, again, you say, well, do your CC. And if they ask what, well, you ask what tune they're playing, and you tell them what CC is. Because obviously here in TM, we accept every player, and we accept on whatever they're running. So obviously, some people are never joined Zerg, or they don't know anything that you're going to say. But if you keep it simple, it's going to be working. Of course, if you're telling people left, right, sometimes happen. I'm gonna not make fun of Deuce in there, but Deuce is a good example of that. Sometimes he thinks that he said left and he's going right, but in his mind it worked. So of course people have to follow you. So they have their.
You've never done that.
No, I've done that plenty of time, but not as not as you. So I'm taking your example. But yeah, they
the domain on the front and back.
Obviously people will have to do their parts, but we're not talking about people. We're talking about commander right now, and it's very important that you understand that people, your group, is literally relying on you. and I mean 100%. Of course, they're gonna do their stuff, hit their whatever they have to do and whatever. But it's you. You are it. You have to make yourself as comfortable as possible to make people do what you want to. And of course, there's gonna be chatting. There's gonna be people not like not there 100%, and you're gonna be people like maybe going out of their brains, and they it's not your fault, but at the same time it's you who has to, like, for example, me, I say focus, and a big clear focus and a stern one, so I know people are gonna snap out of whatever they are thinking, because you need those people to do it. Obviously, when you were running from one fight to another one, you talk, you have fun, but during the fights, sternness. You need to make yourself vocal a lot, and obviously, your calls are going to be the most important things out there. And you make sure that you
Uh,
have people to make call outs for you. What are you going to say, Deuce?
I was going to just say confidence is key.
Yeah, confidence. Yeah, I was going to say that. It's my next. So, my next point is mind. Okay, there's a lot of skills. This game is skills. It's not pay to win. You have to hit the right button at the right time to win the fights. All right. So obviously there's skills, but it's all a mental game. Always has been. It's a mental game. If you, for example, kill somebody 4 times in a row, the fifth time is gonna be easier. Not because they suck more than they did before. Obviously because their mental is not there. They're thinking that they're gonna die. You have to keep your people. Even if you're losing fights, it's gonna happen. That's how you learn. That's how everyone learned. And it's gonna happen. It's fine if it's happening, but it's very, very important that you keep the mental up for your people. Yes, positivity, of course, but as in make them sharps. I'm gonna take us example. We fought OP for 3 weeks in a row. Obviously, last week we were doing very, very, very better than we did the first week, because obviously we were like in their head at some point. They were not just like pushing on us W keying because they know we had some good shit there. So their mental was a little bit lower than ours, and we were able to take advantage of that. And it's gonna happen with everyone. Like, taking example, last night, for those that were there, we're fighting PPT Blob with Jade and BP with all the siege and all the walls and all their pugs, and it's ended up being very well. But at the same time, it's gonna be easy. They're gonna take you, for example, if you beat them 4 times, or they beat us 4 times, it's gonna take you a lot to just make sure that everyone mind is on the right track. Even on the contrary, it's if people are thinking, "Oh, this is so easy," and they don't pay attention, you're gonna get yourself killed. And it's not about skills. Yeah, skills, of course, skills, but this is skills. It's kind of a for you, the commander. It's not that important because it's what you can make them think, or like, for example, you're fighting them. You want them somewhere, and you want them at that position. For example, there's stairs, and you want to kill them on the stairs because it's going to be easier, because they have a lot of range and stairs doesn't work. Well, you have to have the mind to bring them exactly where you want. And I'm not talking about the Terran. I'm talking about your mind that's going there. So if you play with their minds and bring them exactly where you want, or making them do what you want, you're going to be on top every time. It's kind of, it sounds easy the way I say it, but I think it's the hardest part of, because, for example, you lost 2 fights against whoever, it's not important. You lost 2 fights, okay? They're gonna be mentally stronger than you at that moment. The commander is gonna be a little bit more stronger than you. But it's easier to make them what you want to do. So they're gonna be more aggressive. They're gonna be, so you can use that on your advantage. I'm gonna say one thing. So I remember 3 days ago we were fighting OP and SM, and I was distracted for a second, and they ran over us. It's fine. It's cool. I know at that moment, Indo was thinking like, okay, we're gonna just pass them. So at the second time I saw him, I'm like, okay. I went there where we were in the Lord room, and I pulled them off on the south, right on the entrance, and I breached and I dropped everything on their faces, and they melted. And they didn't like that. But at that moment, I used the fact that they were gonna talk. They're gonna think, sorry, that we were just gonna be like easier at that moment. But I played it, and then after that, he got cautious, and then I could, like, on top of this, take over. So I was making him move the way I wanted. Not it's not pretentious. I'm like, oh, not the best one. I'm just saying at that moment I had a small hedge on him mentally. It didn't mean that he didn't win any other fight after that. He won some. We win some. It's just at that precise moment I had the mental hedge on that because I made him think more. So that's another point about the mental. The more you're thinking, the fastest you're thinking, the more everyone's gonna move and gonna be better. Your job is that's why, and it's so funny because a lot of people ask me, why do you repeat? It's pretty easy. You repeat a lot because it's not everyone who gets your first command. And it's not the fault of everyone. They're gonna heard it the third time. So you say it fast. So at least in the next 3 seconds, you said like 5 or 6 times the things that you wanted to do. So everyone does it in that little span of time. And again, it's your mental that has to be at least ready to do that because it's gonna be hard. Remember one thing: you're playing your tune. You have to be aware of what the enemy is doing, what your group's doing. Very important. And at the same time, you need to think of what you're gonna do with the group in front of you and etc. All this is a big melting pot, and you have to think and you have to be sharp-minded because obviously when you're fighting people that are fucking great, I mean, I'm not gonna name every guild because I have a lot. You have to be sharps. You have to be sharp. You have your mind. You have to be on top of it. And with everyone, trying to put everyone, their mind on top of it. Obviously, that brings me to other points. It's enemies. Of course, numbers. Who you're fighting. Is it a group or plenty of groups? For example, last night, we're fighting PPT and Jade. That's two groups of 65 people together. Obviously, you're not going to play the same way you play against one big group, for example, Flux. You need to be noticing their movement, what I was saying, and their positioning. We all have a tendency. I have a tendency. I'll say I'm aggressive as a commander. Some are passive aggressive, some are aggressive passive, and some are passive passive. And they're going to use range. They're going to bring you where they want. They're never going to push on you, but every time you push on them, you're going to be in the. I explained it last week, but now I'm explaining more in video because obviously everyone wants to win, so they're going to play their card as best as they can. If they know they have like 7 Ranger, they're going to play way more back than if you have like 7 Berserker who just run into the middle and kill everyone. So the mind and how many enemies. So you have to, in your mind, to, let's say, calculate real fast how many enemies, what you can do to them, what you can bring to them, where you have to bring them to win the fight, or what you really, 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 really want them to do, and try to bring them to what they want to do. Obviously, it's like chess. They will want the same thing as you. You just have to be cunnered in that. You have to be ready. You have to be, and if you lose, you have to be ready to jump back on the horse. It's not a problem. You have friends, obviously, in TM. We're never going to leave you just because you lost a fight. We're going to say, it's fine, let's go, let's move on. And it happens. Obviously, it happened to me. Every time I fucked up, you hear me like, hey, it's my fault. I moved too fast. I went there. I shouldn't have been there. And you should do the same with you. And you should do the same with you with the good spot. Remember the good things you do and remember the bad things you do. Very important. If you remember both of them and be open-minded, people's criticism. Obviously, me and Phoenix, after his run, we go into and talk for 5-10 minutes. And obviously, it's not only for him. I'm happy to have this conversation with him because we both talking about a situation, grow up on it, get better on it, and the next time him or me, are doing something similar, we're going to do it better. And all that, I know it's a lot. This is fighting commanding. And it's not an easy task. It's super nice though. Your heart is pumping. Like there's no more, not the same adrenaline in anything else that I tried in my life. Those big scales, those fights in position, you're overwhelmed. There's a lot of everything is going on, and it's so awesome. So it's worth a try. If you want to try it, like first thing first, you can come to us. I'll give you pointers. We wanted to think about a way if you're more a person that wants to talk in small capacity, we're open to that. And obviously, we have like a lot of people that want to help. I'm just gonna finish with that. Even if you're new at commanding, be confident. Be confident in your group and yourself. Of course, you're gonna fucked up. Be confident. Don't doubt yourself in fight. Confident. Even if the worst thing ever, you're going through like 7 arrow card, 1 million siege, and you feel like it's the good thing to go. Even if you fucked up, be confident. Don't stutter in your head. Don't think twice. Go. Confidence. 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 And you're gonna be pretty happy to have done it, or at least try it, because it's so awesome, so awesome to tag up. Yeah, you can fake it. I mean, not fake it, but at the same time, your people's gonna be following you. They need a leader. They don't need someone who's doubting. If you're doubting, well, they're gonna do stuff they want because we're all human. You're commending humans. You know what I mean? So you really need to be confident. Even if you fucked up, it's fine. It's fine. We'll be there. We'll be there for you. Okay? We'll be there, and I'll tell you pointers and everything. Confidence, always, always. If you're not sure, it's fine. It's fine to be not sure. Just don't show it. Not because people are gonna laugh at you. Just because they need someone to be there in front, to be leading. And I've spoke with so many other commanders in my life, so many commanders, and we're all different, but at the same time, we're all the same. You go follow another commanders, he's gotta be confident in his stuff, even if he fucked up, or he's not the best, or he's the best, or whatever. It's not important. You have to be confident every time. You choose your way, and you do it. If you rather be more passive aggressive, do it. I'm aggressive aggressive. It doesn't mean that it's the way to go, but for me, it's the way to go because that's how I am. I just like to jump and fucking everyone and kill everyone. And if we die, we just go fucking back to the portal and just coming back. It's fine. Shit happens. But yeah, be confident and always be open minded. Like I said, first thing first, movements. Second thing, positioning. 3, your terrain, your obstacle that is going with positioning. 4, the callings. 5, the calling outs from people in your group telling you what to do. And you have to find someone. If no one's speaking, just ask like I do. 6, your mind. Always the mind. It's a mind game. And the 7, the enemies. Remember all those stuff. And I'm pretty sure you're going to do at least well or trying to do well. Phoenix and Deuce, is there anything you want to add? Or even
No,
anyone
you covered it,
tagging up?
buddy.
Just that you're not going to get better at it by not doing it. Just dive in.
Exactly.
Which is if you guys ever want to take a Friday because you're not sure about something big, you just want to have something more relaxed, hey, shoot me a message somewhere. I'm more than happy to run alongside you and give out pointers and stuff on a more relaxed day.
And even during my runs too, guys. I'm always open. My DMs are always open. You want to understand something? I'm there. This is just a video for now, but I'm always open. Just come back. Just come to me, and I'll help you the best I can. Well, guys, that's concluded. Any question?
I know one thing I did want to say is definitely highlighting the importance of communication, not just as a commander, but as the people in the group to the commander. For timers, if you see something weird and funky in the enemy's composition, like the other night when we were just getting demolished every time we pushed by rev hammers, things like that your commander might not notice ahead of time, feel free to, hey, just say it in squad chat, make sure somebody knows, because it could change their game plan for the better, or it is a giant team effort, and I don't know, it's just not just the commander, like it is a bit of everybody chipping together there.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
the commander will tell you, yes, yes, I see. It's not them trying to be like, shut the hell up. It's just they want you to know that they know that it's there.
Because a lot of the times, when we're focusing so heavily on movement and our next game plan, we don't see little tiny things.
And yeah, moms, thanks. That's too, guys. Tell the people, and sometimes I know I sound like a bit like stern, but it's not about that because I have like 10 things in my head. I cut out for the builds. I mean, 99% of the people using their. I didn't went there because obviously it's tune you're commenting, it doesn't change a lot, but yeah, it does. It's probably the same close-ish, but I'll say most of them are mesmers. A couple of those are firebrands, but most of them are mesmer. I saw a couple of warriors, but not so much. But
Or you
yeah,
can go
it's
be
meta.
like a new and they do reapers.
Definitely Mesmer. Way to go, for sure.
It's
It's better to play something that you know because you don't have to think about the actual build that you're playing.
Yes, but also don't be afraid to learn something new. All of us play different shit. We will help you. We will help you learn. Just ask questions.
So yeah, I would say start playing a tagging build during the regular run if you want to try and learn it.
Also,
I remember
also-
I was playing a ranger for tagging for a while there, and that was only like I thought it was. Oh man, this is amazing! I'm doing so well when I'm doing my ranger commander. It had nothing to do with the ranger skills as a commander. It had to do with I had only played ranger for like 10 years.
you can make anything work. There are
obviously you can
certain
comment on everything.
attributes to a build that will make your life easier. There's just certain attributes to builds that make your life a little easier.
Yep.
You
so
can
yeah,
do
if
it on
you're-
anything.
If you're
but-
playing a guardian, you should be very confident in your stability. You're probably not going to get pulled unless they're stripping everything. If you play a mesmer, you're in charge of the veils and the good pulls.
Or veils.
Yep. And I guess last thing, communication
Sorry.
is key.
Was that question? What are veils?
Yeah.
Mesmer utility skill. Everybody on the team that crosses it will get invisibility for 2 seconds, or if you trade it, which you should as the tag, 3 seconds.
Looks like a
If
line
you're,
in the ground.
it's this. It's this in the middle right here. Makes you invisible when you walk through it.
But it hits like one person drops it, and then everybody, the entire squad that walks over it, gets invisibility. Doesn't last very long, but
And
it
you can
gets
chain
everybody.
them.
Firebrand tags
We
aren't
need to do a
bad.
chrono tag training or a firebrand tag training, or we can schedule individual
Yeah,
stuff.
but
So like,
okay.
if you guys are just
So
interested
before
in
we
playing
go any
shit,
further on that,
ask questions.
that's the first part of the commander training. The second one's going to be on the field. It's going to be in 2 or 3 weeks. And for the rest, if you don't know about the tune, we're more than happy to tell you how to and show you how. We'll probably have a couple of videos. Anton did an very good one on Firebrand that's still there. There's Rosie who did a good one on Tempest. We'll do more in the future, but that's for another thing. All right, so guys, we're going to do the run. Thank you all for joining. Very appreciate for the support, the people who come in. And if you have any question, I didn't name it, but my friend Speed is also a good commander. So everyone, please ask question if you're if you want to. We'll don't be afraid. We'll be there. And yeah, thank you all for joining. Appreciate.